and we're back for another special edition of the Shank and Spence Show, our favorite time of the week. Talk about our favorite football giants, and we're already 25 football season, and it's exciting time. October's rolling around. Very excited to talk some football. You, Spence, I got Spence on the line. How are we doing tonight, Spence?
Oh, man, I mean, my morale hasn't been higher as a football fan. I mean, it's incredible. I look at the division, I look at the Giants, and I think after Sunday's game, versus the 49ers, I know we're going to talk about that later in the show, but I think that this football team is back. I think Big Blue is back.
Big Blue is back in business, and we're ready to discuss the big positives we had from coming in from a huge 24-10 win against the Buffalo Bills. And now we're just going to roll right into our breakdown, and we're going to start off with the defense.
Yes.
And I got to start off, man, I got to give it to you, man. I mean, starting off was great. Beeson with the first play took a nice sack onto Carlos Williams, really set the tone.
Yeah.
And Prince played much better after those lackluster performances, get 2 weeks in a row beforehand.
Yeah.
And, Devin Kennard, oh my God, he played out of his mind.
What an interception Kennard had along the sideline. He just absolutely wrestled the ball away.
And it was fitting, too, because that was his first interception as a New York Giant.
Yeah.
For his NFL career. It was great to see. It was a one-hander, coming off the back end, coming off the man coverage. He played him good old
Devin Kennard.
Good old defense, man.
Yeah, that interception really set the tone there in that first half. I believe that the Giants they were up maybe 10-0 at that point.
I believe so. You are right, Spence, on the money. You were. They were 10-0 running into it. I mean, the defense was doing great, and they're keeping them out of the end zone for most of the time.
Yeah.
And you have my boy Hankins and Jenkins. The Hankins-Jenkins
club. The Hank.
And my boy Igedezua from he had got some great starting experience. The third rounder out of
out of UCLA. Yeah. Omwa Ozigedezua.
Odigizua, that's right. And you can't even pronounce his name, but
no. It's fun every time. It's fun every time to try to pronounce his name.
He makes any offensive tackle scare you, and he's going to get better as the season progresses. And then I want to talk about Kerry Wynn coming in place of Jason Pierre-Paul. He had some He even had a sack on Tyrod Smith. I mean, he played a great job all around. That defense, man, it was funny because going into the game, the Buffalo Bills were the number one rushing team in the league, and we held them to a total of 55 yards, lowest since Green Bay in 2013. How about that stat for you? Courtesy of Giants.com. That's awesome, man.
That's fantastic, and that's a big-time stat out of you, Shank.
That's right, man. I got all my stats right this week. I'm looking. I'm gonna have rapid fire.
I mean that defense. I mean, it's literally like we blanketed Carlos Williams. And I was looking at Carlos Williams. He was the hot fantasy pickup. He was the hot DraftKings guy to plug into the lineup. They said, the New York Giants defense is vulnerable to Carlos Williams, and LaShawn McCoy was out. And Carlos Williams is a very talented player out of Florida State. I mean, the guy ran like a 4.5 at the combine, and for his size, he really has a lot of speed. The Giants have blanketed every running back they've faced so far. That is the strength of our defense. Is Wynn, it's Hankins. Jenkins got a little nicked up during the game, but he got back in it. And the defensive line is just playing out of their minds right now. It's just a beautiful thing to watch.
Absolutely, man. It was just a joy to watch as a Giants fan. I mean, you could tell that swagger is back on that defense. Tom Coughlin, has that great disciplinary,
Spagnuolo is back.
Mentality, and it was great to see that. I mean, coming into third quarter, you had Prince and Landon Collins coming on that great strip against Robert Woods. Definitely set the tone in the third quarter. Most certainly with that was a big play, but yeah.
No, it certainly was. And then Landon Collins also had He also had such a play in the fourth quarter, I believe it was Buffalo's goal line. Buffalo was trying to score on the goal line, and Tyrod took off on 3rd and goal, and Landon came all the way across the field to bump him out on the 1-yard line. That was an incredible goal line stand there early in the fourth quarter.
I totally agree with you, Spence, and that led right into the 4th and goal where J.T. Thomas and Cromartie came across the field out of nowhere just to stop him on that 4th and goal. It was just an unbelievable stand. You know, you could tell the Giants were taking off their helmets. You know, they were excited. You know, they got the whole team fired up.
Yeah.
See that, and I mean,
no, you could tell that the Giants prepared all week long. You could tell that they were ready for this Buffalo attack. And Greg Roman, he has always been an offensive coordinator that relies on runs. I was applauding Greg Romans. You know, I was like, "Thank you so much, Greg. Keep running it right into our curtain." I mean, literally, that's what it's like. It's like a curtain, you know, when the running back gets 1 yard past the line of scrimmage, the Giants just stuff the run every time. It's it's beautiful. And I was like, thank you so much, Greg, for this conservative game plan, because that's all Buffalo did all game. The only guy Buffalo utilized was Charles Clay. That was the only guy they passed the ball to, and Sammy Watkins hasn't been utilized at all this year. Sammy Watkins, if he didn't have that rookie year, no one would even know who he is, because Buffalo hasn't ever thrown him the ball all year long. And then Percy Harvin, you mentioned Prince Amukamara, he matched up with Percy great. All day long, bump and run coverage down the sideline. So it was only Charles Clay, the occasional breakdown, and Buffalo, they rely on running the football. That plays right into our hands, right into the strength of this football team.
That's right. Totally agree with their Spence. It was the Bills. I mean, they played pretty lackluster on offense. I mean,
yes.
We left both out. So Tyrod in his 4th NFL start, he didn't really have that much to go to. I mean, he just struggled most of the game. I mean, offensive line wasn't really giving him that much help. I mean, but like to counteract, you know, what I was saying earlier, and I mean the positives. Now we're unfortunately gonna have to dissect our defense. There were some plays that I was very disappointed. I mean, the great Buffalo tight end Charles Clay was getting wide open basically all day. The Giants are even playing zone or what? I don't know, but it was amazing. There was like 10 guys between the defender and him. He was just wide open over the top in the 4th quarter, which was unbelievable. Like, how could you get behind them? And it's just like Spagnuolo still has a lot of job to do with that defense. But overall, though,
no, it's an A.
They did play a fantastic job.
No, it's an A, and you want that was their game plan going into the game all along. And the Giants I can't say enough about their run stop. I mean, I think, is Robert Ayers, was he playing or was he injured? Was he on the defensive line as well?
Robert Ayers was out.
Robert Ayers was out. But you had Jenkins played great. Hankins is having a terrific season. How about Unga? He's really stepping up, and he's a real leader of this team. So
yeah, he is, man. He flies around making plays, great instinct for the ball. I love to see it. It's great. It's a great job on his part. And basically, I mean, the Giants, you know, this is another great stat that I found today. It was great that Tom Coughlin, you know, coming out with fire blazing. I mean, Giants now improved to 8-1 in the regular season versus AFC East opponents under Tom Coughlin. So AFC East teams. It's great to see.
He does. He does. The last time 3 at the Meadowlands. I don't know if you remember that game. It was a fun back and forth game in the middle of the year. And then in 2007, that was a game that was very memorable. If you remember, it was Ahmad Bradshaw's coming out party when he went 80 yards.
Yeah, I remember was listening on the radio going up to see my grandparents in the Poconos. The day was snowing too, and we were on our way up to the Poconos. I knew that my Giants are playing, 100 miles away. You know, it was great.
That was a where were you moment.
Oh yeah, it was like one of those come out parties. You see Ahmad Bradshaw's helmet. You know, the paint was coming off the helmet. Oh, it was just a memorable.
That was sensational.
That
that jump started it, but I want to dissect this game a little bit longer. The defense, we can all agree, That was the reason that they won that football game, because
Oh, of
Buffalo, every
course.
single time, every crucial junction, they would run the football. It seemed the whole first 3 quarters, the Giants would have Buffalo in 3rd and 7, and then you'd have that guy Chris Hogan coming across the middle. They would never throw it across the first down marker. It would be like 3rd and 7, and they'd throw it 4 yards, and I'm like, thank you, Buffalo. And then we'd wrap up and gang tackle the guy, and they'd be punting. It was just glorious to watch that defense the whole time, because I was scared about Buffalo. And Buffalo, they all start from running the football, and we got them in the third and easy. Our defense really made football look easy.
Definitely to bounce off your point, I mean, the Bills really helped us out with those 17 penalties last couple of days ago. I mean, put us all into a great field position. I just want to go over to the offensive side of the ball. I mean,
Yeah, we could go over there, even though Greg Romans might be the MVP for the Giants with his really. You have to admit, Buffalo's play calling was so conservative the whole game.
Oh yeah, it was definitely most conservative the entire game because Spags pull up that game plan. Like you said, Tyrod was supposed to go beat him, and he couldn't get it done, and he just had to make.
But they didn't test the Giants down the field at all. Like we get more practice covering deep balls on Wednesday during a regular practice than Buffalo did all day.
Exactly. I wanted to point out that I gotta give the credit to Tyrod Taylor for one miraculous play in the fourth quarter. He had a great 30-yard run in the fourth quarter, and it was called back for like a chop block on Incognita.
Yeah.
One of the who had a controversy surrounding him in Miami. But this is one of those things where there's a lot of unfortunate opportunities for the Bills. I mean, they just couldn't capitalize. A lot of missed opportunities on their part. I mean,
totally.
It was all Giants football.
But guess what? That's a segue now to what we want to talk about, and that's the offensive side of the ball. So let's get right to that.
Spence, I'm gonna give it to you because I basically dissected that defense. I mean, I talked about that defense.
I basically did no work. I didn't even need to be here at all for that part. That was all you.
I know, you're right.
That was all you. I mean, what am I even doing on this pod? So now I got to take the offense by the rings. But guess what? I'm prepared to lead this segment. I guess what? I'll lead this segment, okay? I'll take the work off of your shoulders, okay? So
I'll add when necessary, of course. Come on, Spence.
So first off, the offense all game is very conservative with Ben McAdoo. The entire game is consistently slants. It's running it up the gut and trying to achieve maybe 3 to 4 yards of Andre Williams or Rashad Jennings. And we did have some success on the draw plays around midfield. The Giants did have some success. The first half was a lot swifter in our offensive approach. I mean, Eli was getting the ball off and not having delay of game penalties. Dwayne Harris offense, that to me was the most exciting aspect of this game, because I remember Dwayne Harris on the Dallas Cowboys, and I would wonder, why is the not utilized in the passing game instead of Dwayne Harris? So I look at Harris, you have all this speed, Dallas underutilized him, and then finally he stepped in replacing Victor Cruz in that first catches. He's a tough kid, and that slant route for a touchdown to put him up 17, that was a dagger there from Dwayne Harris. So I looked at her offensive performance in the first half. It was very nice. We kept the ball away. Randall had some nice plays. Donnell made some catches. So Eli played well in that first half.
I totally have to agree with you there, Spence. And I just want to add on to a couple points that you
sure.
Watching the game, you could definitely see going into the game. I mean, Eli was definitely targeting Odell Beckham a lot more than usual.
Yeah.
And over the past couple weeks, you could definitely see he was more implemented into the game plan. That was a very important thing to see. Like you also said, implementing Dwayne Harris more into that offense.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's got some great speed. You gotta love his size. He got some great hands. He just plays great.
Well, I don't know if he has great hands, because there's a reason that he hasn't been utilized in the wide receiver game. There has to be a reason. Maybe his hands aren't great. I don't think he's that. I don't think his route running is that pronounced yet. So that could be another thing that they're working on. But again, I love Dwayne Harris being thrown
I was
into the
saying
mix.
that because he can catch anybody. In my opinion, anybody that can catch kick returns, punt returns. You got some good hands. That ball coming down at some odd miles per hour. I mean, it's hard to catch balls like that. But
That's a good point.
You see a lot of people drop a lot of kick returns nowadays. They don't have good kick hands or whatnot. So I give it to their Spence. But I was.
Yeah, so Matt, I really thought that you looked at the first half performance, and then you really had a lull in the second half, and that's something that we need to address here on this show is the lull in the third quarter of play. You know what, guys? Hold tight. What we're going to do is we're going to split this show up into two podcasts and the two segments. This is part one, Giants Bills breakdown. We just discussed the defense and how stout they were all game long, but we're going to get to the second half, and I have a ton more to say, and so does Matt. So we're going to be right back. It's the Shank and Spence Show.